Welcome back to the channel and another review, translated review of a vehicle that we don't have in Australia just yet, but hopefully it's coming at some point in closest future. It's the brand new, all new Haval H9. It's a premium looking vehicle that is cheaper than Tank 500, yet you will see in this video that it very directly competes with that model. And I do think that Great Wall Motor once again has done an amazing job of fitting as much value as possible, packing it into a smaller priced package. It's wonderful to see, and I have really enjoyed this review. That's why I thought that I'm going to translate it from Russian into English for your viewing pleasure. If you appreciate these videos and if you look forward to more vehicles coming to our market to create healthy competition on the market for the other mainstream brands, especially in such popular segment as larger 4x4 SUVs, which I am very interested in personally, please give the video a like before you decide to drop out at any point in this video. Very quick reminder before you go is that please understand that I don't tolerate any China bashing. You don't have to like Chinese cars. You can tell me that you will never buy one in your life. That's fine. Just please understand that the community guidelines are not optional. Everyone has to abide by them. It's a private club. It's not a public tribune. I hope this resonates. I hope you understand. With that, please enjoy the review, and I look forward to hearing what you think in the comments below.
Haval H9 is a capable off-roader on a frame with diesel engine options. GWM is clearly not pushing it as a very heavy-duty off-roader such as a mud-digging Tank 300, which is visible in the design, that this one is a lot more premium and city design, so to speak. We see painted parts from top to bottom, and not so much in terms of plastic fenders and other elements that, say, Tank 300 has to offer as a lot more serious and scratch-ready off-roader. I personally am in love with this brutal design and one of these standard colors. This one is the kind of deep, very deep gray matte color. It's not glossy, and I hate to say glossy looks cheap. No, this is just amazing. Come on, mate. If you're not lying to yourself and others, you gotta say that this is damn impressive. It's like Mercedes AMG SUV, you know? But obviously this bit is subjective. It's so much better looking than Tank 500 in my humble opinion. There are other colors available, obviously, white, black, and somewhat kind of very deep, nice green, in my opinion. Bring it on. I say, oh my god, like honestly, I am tempted to sell my Subaru and buy this. And I'm so glad that it's not available in Australia, as some of you have pointed out to me in response to my other videos, that mate, if more of these appealing cars were coming, you would have issues with your wife. I probably would. So in Russia, they have this H9 in two versions. Cheaper one with 18-inch wheels and a few other features missing, and the premium one with these 19-inch alloys. We can see that the design of the side mirrors is clearly borrowed from what they started using in Tank 300, kind of same fitting. Interesting that the thresholds are supplied and available even on the base level model, not the premium version of this vehicle. Apparently even towing hook is sort of already ready to be fitted, and this bumper construction, as you can see, there is that little patch that can be removed to expose the bolts to fit the towing hook, and the plugs are there under the rear bumper as well, in case you need to tow something seriously. Towing capacity is considered to be standard here, 750 kilograms for anything to tow that doesn't have brakes, and up to 2.5 tons for trailers with brakes. For distribution in Russia, Haval apparently improved the stock available anti-corrosion. Interesting and slightly questionable designer decision is that the spare wheel is actually placed under the boot, just like you have in Prados and Toyotas. Boo, by the way, because it's inconvenient if you're actually mud digging. And on the rear door, instead, they've placed this, I would say, visually pleasing but strange storage box, kind of a coffer of sorts, that you can open with your manual key, physical key. Yes, that metal thing that actually is hidden inside of your fob, but you would need to disassemble the fob and have that physical key ready if you are planning to use this box regularly, which is inconvenient at this stage. Basically, the design is of this bit is inconvenient, and just having a spare placed on the tailgate would have been so much more practical. I'm sure you would agree, but let me know if you don't. But this look is more fancy and visually pleasing, without a doubt. It looks more seaty and more premium. This is a 7-seater vehicle, and just as in Tank 500 that we've spoken about enough, when the third row of seats is up, there is virtually no boot space. Nothing for you to put your luggage in. Certainly not big bags, maybe a couple of I don't know, small bags from your grocery shopping, but that's it. If you tried to put the seats down, though, a disappointing fact is that they aren't laying down flat, but there is an apparent maybe 10 to 15 degree angle, and this angle becomes even more so prominent as they show it when they lay down the second row of seats as well. You can see that this slope continues. Tailgate is designed well, with some active lifestyle or camping in mind, clearly with some plastic door hooks for you to hang something on. There is a little shelf there as well, which looks like shape-wise it might fit your umbrella really nicely if you want to store it in your tailgate, of course. And there are a few other practical little pockets. The tailgate door is standard for this class of the vehicle, opens kind of like a barn door. It looks heavy. Window wiper on the tailgate is unexplainably tiny, only cleaning maybe 1/3 of the rear window from what I can see, while our host says that it covers 2/3. I don't believe him. 360-degree cameras and these features such as like transparent body of the vehicle projections are traditionally great in Great Wall Motor and in Haval vehicles specifically. The bonnet is of apparently what's called alligator design. It's narrowing down towards the tip. There are LED headlights, oil filters, and other elements are rather easy to access, things that you would be potentially accessing yourself and not your service center mechanic. This vehicle has a 4-cylinder petrol engine pumping out 218 horsepower with automatic transmission from ZF, same as we have on GWM Canon pickups or utes in Australia, and on tank vehicles, if I'm not mistaken, too. Everyone says only good things about ZF transmissions. That's all I'm hearing across these reviews for many months and many different models. There apparently is a diesel version of 2.4-liter engine that pumps out 184 horsepower with about 480 Newton meters of torque and the same ZF automatic transmission. Apparently very good rubber kind of lining and insulation edge of the bonnet that makes sure no dust and mud and grime comes in. This vehicle clearly is very new, but it has seen some country roads, some off-roads, even just as part of this little video footage, and the engine looks absolutely pristine, which is massive credit to this good job done clearly in insulating the engine bay. Now, the interior design, we have a 14.6-inch infotainment unit, very generous, lovely generally finishes of the seats, side wind deflectors, this for the air conditioning. Everything looks very premium to my eye and to our host here as he comments on this. Ceiling block of control buttons and lights is the same as in Haval H9, which apparently by design must have worked well for them and feedback must have been positive, so why change it? There is no driver side kind of top handle for some unknown reasons. I like this particular steering wheel. Apparently it's the same one as in Haval Dargo, but we don't have this car here in Australia. It does look better than what I can remember in my Haval H6 or even in Haval H9s that I have test driven. It's pleasing to see that there are plenty of physical buttons, mainly obviously for climate control. Our host here quickly shows us that there is also one-click option in the infotainment, but one click to enable heating of everything, like start heating everything, which would be very handy for, I don't know, Northern Europe and Russia, obviously, with harsher weather conditions, where you click it once and your seat, your steering wheel, your rear seats start warming up. We couldn't care less about that, obviously, in Australia, even with some cold mornings that we may have sometimes, but it's a good feature. Subjectively, but sad for me to see, is that central joystick is borrowed from tank models, as probably receiving a lot of positive feedback from wannabe fighter jet pilot buyers, and the whole central block of buttons is also looking quite similar to Tank 300. It's nice, it looks nice. Off-roading features are all available, as you can imagine, from these kind of cars, similar to Tank 300 and 500, including differential locks and reducing the turning circle of the vehicle, where the one wheel gets locked and you are turning in tight spots. It kind of helps you turn almost on one spot. As many Haval owners complained about short lower part of the seats, the cushion, yeah, they have apparently increased the length of those a little bit, the seating pads, so the big bumped and long-legged potential owners would have one less thing to complain about. I think it's actually amazing that the brand is listening to their customers in this regard. Lots of seat adjustment options, as you would imagine. Hard but solid and pleasant looking plastic around. Cool bottle holders, I'm gonna call it. It's really cool with the little belts on them. I love those personally. Rear seats look very comfortable and it's roomy. It clearly has a lot of space there. Length and angle of the seats is adjustable, actually rather generously. Advanced heating options of the rear seats, which is crazy awesome, I think, and it all, once again, looks great. Third row is okay. I would even dare say that at least from this angle it looks better than the one that I saw with my own eyes in Tank 500 in Australia. But those third rows are never anything to write home about. They're okay for a short trip, and at least it looks like here there is some legroom, but clearly it's a cramped space. It's not an MPV or a van, so what do you expect? Sound insulation apparently is very good in H9, particularly on diesel engines. You hear the engine noise, but nothing is uncomfortable, and the wheel arch noises are also very low, according to our host here. Suspension apparently is very good. It has a very, sense of this solid vehicle on a frame with rear solid axle and independent frontal suspension. So you kind of get the best of both worlds, off-roading, but at the same time remaining very controllable in the city. Acceleration from 0 to 100 is stated at 14 seconds for petrol engines, which is rather sad. But who honestly would expect to race in this car? Come on. You honestly would need to get your head checked if you do and if you complain about it being slow. Our host Kirill here briefly talks about the vastly improved electronic driver assistance systems. I'm presuming this includes lane keep assist and adaptive cruise control, obviously, and he has driven a lot of cars from GWM Haval over the past few years, so he goes out of his way to mention that the system here feels much smoother, much smarter than, I presume, my Haval H9 that I owned in 2022. This gives me hope that compared to that model that I had, this would feel like a lot more premium vehicle with a proper and not beta version of the software behind the ELK systems that it honestly produced the impression of. Kirill also talked about how on one hand it's great that Haval kept diesel options available for those who want it, but it's slower to accelerate in the city, more expensive to buy straight away because these cars are more expensive, and apparently diesel prices are increasing not just in Australia but also in Russia, so go figure. Your savings on fuel would not be noticeable probably. It will all even out in the wash, so you seriously have to consider, is diesel actually a no-brainer purchase, or are you better off with the petrol version? But yes, of course, some people are towing all the time or climbing mountains. I think our host here even gives some statistic that apparently for petrol engines the car can maximum climb an incline of 50 degrees, and on diesel engines it can climb up to 70 degrees. Oh my god, it's practically a vertical wall. I don't know, but in case you're interested. Off-roading performance, well, it's a frame. The vehicle has a 224mm clearance. You can have all imaginable driving modes here. Eco, mud, sand, so everything suggests that it's seriously capable off-roader. We said it enough times. You can see it on the screen. I'm impressed. I think it's great. They tried to do some kind of terrain testing with overhanging the wheels over obstacles and seeing how well the diff locks work, as well as how well does the rigidity of the body holds, like can they open and close the doors without any issues, or is there any deformation? And as you can imagine, the body is rigid and nothing distorted, everything was closing and opening. Our host here is pleased. Kirill says that moving the vehicle again from this hanging position was not a problem at all, easy. Of course, it's not an extensive off-road test, it never pretended to be. Steel protection of the engine and key elements underneath is not plastic, it is like from 2 millimeters to 3 millimeters thick. The only problem is that the whole body is painted on the outside, obviously, so some branches, some other kind of things, if you are into very serious bushland off-roading, are probably going to be a problem. There is not that much plastic, as we said. It is not built to be pushed through Siberian or Canadian tundra, I don't know. Same story is with Tank 500, if you remember my reviews there. That's where more premium and city-bound vehicle kind of can be compared against something that's built for off-road, such as Tank 300. Once again, we'll look at insulation of the interior very briefly from the outside world, and it looks good. All I'm seeing that I'm very impressed by, it's very clean on the inside, and thresholds are wide, helpful, and everything inside the vehicle looks clean in spite of all the mud and all the dust that they've just been through. So there you go. GWM now has Tank 300, Tank 500, several pickup vehicles. Now also H9, and spoiler alert, H5 is also coming to the Russian market that we'll be reviewing very shortly. Amazing vehicle that is even more cheap than H9. It's crazy and I am openly jealous. So the price of H9, look, Russian prices will not tell you much, but I can tell you that according to Kirill, the price of this H9 will be similar to Tank 300, not 500. So in my humble opinion, as a person who translates this, is interested in the cars, to me, this is a more interesting, more premium, more modern vehicle than Tank 500. Yet it's cheaper. It's cheaper. So proportionately, if this car came to Australia, I think it would destroy the market for Toyota and other competitors who I think have become too comfortable over time. Chinese vehicles are improving vastly and rapidly over time. And this is another example where they're listening to their customers and producing what looks like a much better product. On this positive note, I'm going to wrap up here and invite your comments into the comment section below. Please just understand that I don't tolerate any China bashing, and you can disagree with me all you want, just be mutually respectful and respectful to me, and it will be all right. All comments are being moderated. It means that I look at them before they see the light of day. So I'm sorry, trolls, it's not going to be a happy day for you today. Thanks again for watching. Give the video a like before you go. If you're still watching me, thank you very much. You're very special. I appreciate you. And subscribe for more. Bye for now.